Hey, everybody. Good afternoon. I am Captain Jim Palmer, the Dream Business Coach, and I'm the founder of the Dream Business Mastermind and Coaching Program, creator of the infamous No Hassle newsletters, author of these 6 books that you can get for free. And I'm going to tell you how to do that at the end of this show. And for the last 10 years, I've also been the host of Dream Business Radio. This is episode 568, I do believe. This edition of Dream Business Radio is brought to you by the Dream Business Mastermind and Coaching Program. If you're an entrepreneur or small business owner who wants to grow a more profitable business faster, if you're especially interested in learning how to create multiple streams of revenue, which is what this show is about today, then you want to be part of this extraordinary virtual mastermind group led by me, Captain Jim, the Dream Business Coach. You can learn more at dreambizcoaching.com. That is dreambizcoaching.com. Okay, this show is going to be a little bit different in that I am not interviewing a guest. Instead, I'm going to give you an overview of my brand new ebook, How to Create Multiple Streams of Revenue, where I share in detail how I grew from 1 business to 6. You can download a free copy at createmultiplestreamsofrevenue.com. So the first question is, why would an entrepreneur want multiple streams of revenue? And, it's a very good question. One of the reasons that I write about in this book is, multiple streams of revenue smooth out the inevitable downturns in some business models, whether it's seasonal or cyclical, which might be the same, or maybe economic, maybe things go out of style, whatever. But when you have different revenue streams, or think of silos, and one goes down, maybe another's up, or they kind of help to even things out. By the way, it also helps overall with your growth and profitability. It's also extra beneficial if your multiple streams of revenue are complementary to each other. Easy for you to say, meaning that if they serve the same customer base as your original core business, home run. That's exactly what you want. Now, I also write about in this book that there are different types or different forms of multiple streams of revenue, different strategies even. For example, if you're a doctor or a dentist, somebody who might be, tied to the business, so to speak, and this is what you do, you might want a multiple streams of revenue, and that might look like investing in real estate, rental properties, anything like that. A really good friend of mine, a longtime coaching member, Dr. David Phelps. He helps an awful lot of people through his really wonderful group called the Freedom Founders Program. You definitely want to look up Freedom Founders, Dr. David Phelps. The revenue streams, or the multiple revenue streams that I'm talking about, the type that I've created in my business and those that I help my coaching clients in the Dream Business Mastermind create, are generally more aligned with what I'm going to call the core business. Now, one of the main reasons entrepreneurs love this strategy the most, or why they should, I should say, is that you can use in a large way the same customer base that you've already built trust and rapport with in your core business. In my book, I explain in detail how and why I created multiple streams of revenue, and I do that in large part by sharing my own 22-year journey as an entrepreneur. I thought, I could just sound like a business book, or I could just tell you my story and you glean from it what you will, which is generally how I write anyway. I'm going to touch on some of this story for you right now. But first, I want to share one of the main lessons that I learned from my mentor. There's a very big difference between an entrepreneur and a small business owner. Sometimes I think those words I use interchange. I use them, but I usually say whether you're an entrepreneur or a small business owner. So some people, what is the difference, Jim? Well, most small business owners tend to be 100% focused on driving more sales, more gross revenue of their main product or whatever it is that they do. To the point, I think sometimes they have blinders on and simply don't see other opportunities to create wealth. Notice I didn't say just revenue, but wealth minded. See, most entrepreneurs, especially those in high income brackets, they usually get there because they bring together different sources of income or different sources of revenue if we're on the business side, versus simply just pushing really hard and driving the heck out of your main revenue source. One thing to keep in mind as you think about, how do I become more wealth focused or, wealth centric, if that's a word, I don't know, is that not every revenue stream you create needs to be a giant home run. Let's say you got a business. Let's say your core business right now is doing, say, $200,000, right? And you create another revenue stream, and maybe that thing does 50,000 or 70,000. Maybe it does 30. It doesn't mean it's a loser. There are several things you can do to make it work for the core business, but it also has to do a lot with the cost of customer acquisition. If you're generating a second revenue stream that serves your same customer base, those customers that already know, like, and trust you, that's a home run also, because the most expensive thing in any business is the cost of acquiring a customer. So not all revenue streams have to be similar, and they don't all have to be huge home runs. Two examples that I give you in my own business. So I had a business called No Hassle Social Media for about 5 years. Grew that to over 6 figures. I had a business called Custom Article Generator, did far less than that. But the thing about Custom Article Generator, number one, it was an additional service for some of my existing customers. And people that came to the Custom Article Generator website in order to custom article from my writers, they were also then put into a sequence where I got to introduce them to No Hassle Social Media or No Hassle newsletters, which, by the way, I'll give you a little bonus. If they got a discount for joining that program, and when they were a member, a fully functioning monthly paying member of one of those programs, they got a discount on custom articles that they needed to order. So one thing fed the other. So Custom Article Generator, sometimes if I was given a speech or an interview recently, like I think I did about 6 or 8 months ago, we were talking about this topic, and I said, Custom Article Generator in and of itself probably wouldn't have put 400 gallons of diesel in my beautiful boat. But in general, it made a lot of my current customers happy, kept them longer, which, by the way, kept those revenue streams going. And some of those people that came in just for articles ended up joining the other program. So you can't just look at the old spreadsheet or the P&L for each one of these. All right, let me get back on track here. Now, how I created multiple streams of revenue and what I want you to do, I'm going to this is going to be the TED Talk version. I do have a longer version of this, but I'm not going to do that because I just wrote the book. I want you to download it. It's for free. This is my TED Talk version, which means I'm truncating it, and I'm probably going to leave a few things out, but you're going to get the point. Now, there are 3 big secrets to creating multiple streams of revenue. Number one, you want to become extremely good at listening to what your current customers are asking for, are telling you, etc. They may be saying things in a conversation. They might be putting comments down below or anything. And very often they're going to say, gee, I wish I could do this, or I wish I had that. I love this article. I need some on this. Instead of just saying, well, I guess we don't do that, figure out a way to make that happen. Number 2, figure out what the pain points are for your current customers and create solutions to alleviate those pain points. That is the essence of a business, is it not? And instead of, here's the big one. This has become my personal mantra. Instead of making a referral, create a revenue stream, right? I'm going to give you a couple examples of that. So my first business was called Dynamic Communication. I started in October of 2001. I was writing and designing custom newsletters for local businesses, chambers of commerce, nonprofits, different organizations. And what I believe, because I've been doing newsletters at that point, I think was I 41 years old at that point, something like that. And I wrote my first newsletter when I was 21. I knew exactly that if you bore your customers with your work stuff, oh, hey, we just won an award, we got a driving certificate, hey, meet this person. It's all that stuff is like kind of boring. So I started writing these articles and content that I was putting in my customer newsletters. Well, one of the meetings I was having, I remember it like it was yesterday. I was in the office. It was a marketing director for a large insurance company, and he's looking over the newsletter I created for him, giving me the sign off before we go to printing and mailing. And he goes, "You know why you're here, right, Jim?" And I was taken aback a little bit. I said, "Yeah, we're getting your newsletter done." He goes, "Yeah, but specifically, when we hired you and you started putting some of this content in, our customers suddenly tell us they love the content that's in the newsletter." Now, this is an example of me being a good listener and also a good marketer, because if you look at the No Hassle newsletter website today, which is still going strong, we've served over over 12,000 small business owners in 9 countries with that program. But if you look there, I talk about, I think I trademarked it, customer loving content. My customers said our customers love the content. So therefore, I branded it customer loving content. That's how No Hassle Newsletter started. I then created, all right. And I started getting members at that point. I want to say that I was probably $17 or $27 a month for people that had newsletters to use all this content, this kind of Reader's Digest type stuff. The next thing I did is I started creating templates, because some of the subscribers to No Hassle newsletters, when it was purely a content driven program, were saying, do you know any designers that can create these templates? I can't find anybody, blah, blah, blah. I said, I could make a referral. I certainly know designers. I did some myself, not that I want to do that, but I said, or I could create a revenue stream. I could create templates that I put into the system and then actually charge more money. I think I went up to like $47 and $67 or $77 a month, of ultimately $97 for that program. And boom, I created another revenue stream with the templates. That was like, it was very eye-opening. I'm going to keep going. Fast forward. I then created 10 customized templates based on all of what I considered to be the 10 most popular niches that could really benefit from a customer newsletter: realtor, dentist, say chiropractor, attorneys, insurance, doctors, accountants, residential home cleaners, all service-based businesses for the most part. Well, one story about how adding these additional newsletter templates benefited me was I created a special newsletter for a specialty doctor. I'm going to leave it at that. And then I got invited to speak to an association of these specialty doctors. There were about, I think, 280 of them in this room. I got up there for 1 hour, did a presentation on the power of newsletters, client retention, referrals, et cetera, or patient referrals. And I walked out with $50,000 in my pocket from people who jumped on my new specialty newsletter that I created specifically for so that's pretty cool. The next thing I did, I was exhibiting in St. Louis at this marketing conference, and some of my clients are starting to recognize me. I used to have a caricature of the newsletter guru and all that. And they come up and said, hey, Jim, we're loving the content, loving the templates, et cetera, but can you recommend a printer? I know you say they should be used a certain paper, they should be folded a certain way. Can you recommend a printer that understands how to do newsletters? And I'm thinking, I know printers, or I could get in the printing business. So less than 60 days later, I created the Newsletter Guru's Concierge Print and Mail on Demand program. And in our heyday, like back in, where would that be? Probably about 2009 to 2012. We're printing and mailing as many as 50,000 newsletters a month. Ka-ching, right? I'm going to leave a couple out. I told you I got to do the shortened TED Talk version. Later on, after I started writing and publishing books, I published over 12 books, home study courses, training programs, such as Double My Retention, How to Sell from the Stage Like a Pro, and others. And I created a business called Success Advantage Publishing. You've probably seen me talk about it and promote it. Actually, the report before this one was about how you can benefit from publishing your own book as an entrepreneur. So I created this business. I've got a professional editor. I've got professional book cover designer. So my team and I actually not only do all my publishing, but we publish for many of my clients in the Dream Business Mastermind, basically becoming an author and the benefits thereof very turnkey. I also in 2009 launched the Dream Business Mastermind and Coaching Program. I'm going to these different conferences and people are going, Jim, what the heck? I'm still getting my first business going. You're up to like what, 5 right now? And then Dan Kennedy, my greatest mentor, said, if somebody comes up to you and says, how are you doing that? You may have a coaching program. And I thought, maybe I got a coaching program. So I started. And today that is my largest business. My largest revenue stream is the Dream Business Mastermind and Coaching Program. It has made this dream lifestyle possible. For the last 5 years, we were cruising on that beautiful boat up and down the coast. I've been working 3 days a week for the last 7 years as a result of my multiple streams of revenue strategy. Now, what I hope this kind of shortened and condensed look at my business makes clear is that whenever I was faced with a new opportunity, my own personal mantra became, I can either create a referral and give a customer a happy referral, send them on their way, or I could create a new revenue stream. So you need to be thinking more about building and creating wealth, creating financial independence, financial security for yourself. yes, you could grow a very, very strong business. One business, keep pushing that rock up the hill, and plenty of people do it. I'm telling you, it's a lot easier when you have multiple streams of revenue. And the other thing is, it's been said that if you have good cash flow, you sleep well. I'm telling you, if you have multiple streams of revenue, you sleep like a baby. I've learned that. So as you think about your own business, I want to encourage you to think about what other services or programs, products can your existing core customer base use and benefit from, and how can they benefit from doing this business with you? Remember, not every business has to be a $1 million business or even a $500,000 business. Not every business has to have a huge gross profit margin. If your core business is really rocking and rolling, and let's just say for the sake of this point here, you're working on a 40 to 50% gross profit margin. If you have other revenue streams that operate on 20%, 10%, 5%, 30%, whatever it is, your core business is pretty much usually funding your expenditures, with your business as a whole. So depending on what those additional revenue streams are, they don't have to cover new staff and new this and new that. So just keep that in mind. I know I'm really abbreviating this, but I want you to read the report. All right. So that's good. I wanted to be 15, 20 minutes. So I'm getting ready to wrap up here. So that's a wrap on this abbreviated version of Dream Business Radio Live with my TED Talk edition of Dream Business Radio. I want you to download, or I'm going to suggest you download the link is right there on the screen. I've kept it up. CreateMultipleStreamsOfRevenue.com. CreateMultipleStreamsOfRevenue.com. It's free. It's eye-opening. It's probably twice as long as what I just gave you. I give you a lot more examples of why you want to do it, how you want to do it, and why it should be important. The other thing I did for this book, this is, by the way, this is ebook number 7. So my commitment to myself, my clients, and the big man upstairs who said, I want you to help more people before you go sail off into the ocean somewhere. So I've made a really concerted effort this last year to be upping my email game, upping my training, doing more of these lives. And this is my 7th ebook where I don't have a filter. I'm telling you so much good stuff about how to create business success as an entrepreneur. That's what this is all about. Now, if I can help you, you can reach out to me at getjimpalmer.com. You can also check out at getjimpalmer.com. I'm going to be just do an unabashed little plug here. I think it happens to be the best, most powerful, most packed-filled blog in the history of entrepreneurial businesses, right? Getjimpalmer.com. There's a blog. I have been posting blogs for, I'm going to say, over 15 years. You won't believe how much stuff. So you can scroll and scroll and see good stuff, really, really solid stuff. GetYourEmpowerment.com. If you're interested in joining me and about 27 other very, very smart entrepreneurs, driven, growth-oriented entrepreneurs in my virtual Dream Business Mastermind, go to dreambizcoaching.com, dreambizcoaching.com. Okay, I promise I'm going to tell you how you can get copies of my books, which is the other part of my Jim, you got to help more people program, but I only want to work 3 days a week. So this is how I'm doing it. I've made all 6 of my Dream Business books free in digital format. So at Amazon, you can download them as Kindle. Barnes & Noble, they are Nook Books, and they're also in the iBook store. But I will be back next week with a guest. And I can't remember off the top of my head who it is, but it's going to be a great guest. Go to createmultiplestreamsrevenue.com, download your report. But until this time next week, another fantastic interview. I am Captain Jim Palmer, and I'm the Dream Business Coach, and you take good care.